Let's help clean this up. Let's go through that role play together. Give me whatever objections that you're used to hearing.
The response I get a lot is like, we really want to work with you and we really want to do this. We're too busy.
You're way too busy. How many employees do you have in your company right now?
We have 10 employees.
You have 10 employees. Well, it's my understanding with 10 employees that we'd anticipate we could get you about $100,000 in free money. It might take as little as 2 hours to sort that out. For $50,000 an hour, do you have time to continue this conversation? We've helped over 200 people get this money. I'm happy to help you too, but you got to do your part. And it's not a real plan without a timeline. Hey, I'm happy to help you too, but this is what I need from you. Could you get that to me by noon tomorrow? It's not something I can spend days on. I've helped 200 clients already. I got another 1,000. I'd like to help them too.
Wow, that's good.
You're welcome. If you go implement the shit we just talked about, how much money is that worth to you?
That little thing you gave there, if I take that and roll with it, I can make my first 6 figures this year.
More than that, I hope.
Last month, I made $100,000 in a month for the first time because of that guy. So I understand you.
My question is a sales question. So specifically, the roadblock I'm hitting in my sales process is communicating a sincere sense of urgency and priority. And the thing I'm selling is the employee retention tax credit. Essentially, if your business was impeded by a government shutdown, they're going to give you a government stimulus in the form of a tax return, and it's by a per employee basis. The response I get a lot is like, we really want to work with you and we really want to do this. We're too busy. I was like, and then I follow up, and then eventually I'm like, well, you guys haven't done anything yet. Do you still want me to follow up, or are we done here? And they tell me, no, we want to keep going. We're just too busy. So
how much money is this credit worth to your average client that follows through?
We filed for 200 clients. Our average is 18,000. So a good conservative number I always use is just 10,000. So if you have 10 employees, that's $100,000. And if you are organized with your paperwork, retrieving that and putting that together, it takes 2 hours. So 2 hours of work, 10 employees, 6 figures.
So when they tell you they're too busy, you say, you're too busy for me to get you $100,000. Yeah. You should say that to them, like, in a way of, that's somewhat poignant or urgent. Of like, let me understand. I'm trying to get you $100,000 right now, but you're too busy. Yeah. Help me understand that. What are these I'm in the wrong business. What are these high value tasks that you're engaged in that you don't have time to make $50,000 an hour to have this conversation with me?
A second component to the hesitancy is when you file for this, you're essentially signing up to be in a lottery to get examined by the IRS. They see it as an audit.
Why would a small business owner want to avoid that?
That is a huge hesitancy for obvious reasons. And right now we've had about 5 businesses been audited and they've passed. And what they're essentially looking for in that audit is 5 things, and we provide 4 of those 5 things. And all they need to provide is 1 thing. So essentially, to qualify, you need to have been disrupted by a government order shutdown, and so that's the only thing they need to take care of. We take your calculations, we amend their tax forms, and I focus on these very simple things before we get to the nominal things. The money is there, the hesitancy is they're busy and getting audited, essentially. And because they don't want to deal with the headache and they don't really understand the time it takes to get all the paperwork, they'd rather just go to their day-to-day, which makes sense. Trying to gauge where I should put my attention. Is this client just not a good client and I just need to move forward? Or I think I'm missing some part of my communication, and what you said just now, I think, is part of it.
Let's help clean this up. Let's go through that role play together. So, give me the objection. Let's play it that way. Give me whatever objections that you're used to hearing.
Well, we just don't want to deal with IRS. That's just a sticky situation we don't want to get into, and so we'd rather just not do it than do it.
Well, I understand some small businesses engage in a lot of creative accounting. And if that happens to be the circumstance with your business, then it may be for good reasons that you don't want to deal with the IRS, that there might be real or perceived fraud And if you have poor accounting systems or are in fact engaged in fraud, that'd make a lot of sense to not do that. And it'd be great if you gave me a firm no now, so neither one of us waste any more of our time. However, if you have anything close to generally accepted accounting principles within your firm, there's actually only 5 things that would happen in the audit. 4 out of those 5 things we already take care of for you. That's item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. Now, item 5 is simply a verification. Did you, in fact, have a negative impact? Were you adversely impacted by government shutdown? Or was your supply chain impacted by that? That it could be an indirect case. Did you or a supplier, did you suffer a direct or indirect impact from one of these, government-ordered shutdowns? Yes or no? Okay, so then they answer that. So well, and then in fact, there's really no problem with, as far as the IRS audit. That's not a full audit. It's not something to be overly concerned about. That's as difficult as your task would be is for your CPA to provide perhaps a letter certifying that you were in fact impacted by that. Everything else we take care of for you.
Okay. That's very articulate. That's good, thank you.
Give me more. You done? We're close. You're signing the contract? Give me more. All right, give me more.
That's pretty much it. I mean, if they say yes to that, then it's pretty much closed from there. Like then I just sit down with them.
I thought you were busy. You're not going to tell me you're busy?
Oh yeah, yeah, but we're way too busy.
This poor guy. You're way too busy. You're way too busy. Well, if you had, how many employees do you have in your company right now?
We have 10 employees.
You have 10 employees. Well, it's my understanding with 10 employees that we'd anticipate we could get you about $100,000 in free money, and take a couple hours for us to help you with that. If you have decent accounting, it might take as little as 2 hours to sort that out. Maybe it's going to take a few more hours. So, for $50,000 an hour, do you have time to continue this conversation?
Sparked my interest. It sparked my interest.
Well, it sparked my interest too, but the thing is, there's a lot of other people that I could be speaking to right now that they are very interested in working together. And I have to prioritize my time. I don't want to push you to do anything that you're not excited to do, that's not in your own selfish best interest to do, but I do have to manage my time as well. If I could do my part to simplify the paperwork for you, to make this as streamlined and painless of a process as it could be, are you serious about moving forward with this? Would you like to have that $100,000?
I would like to have that $100,000.
All right. This is what I need from you. Tomorrow is Monday morning. We're back to business hours. Monday at noon. By Monday at noon, could you get me this, this, and this? If you can't do that personally, who do I speak to in your organization that could, that we can move this paperwork forward and get this funding for you that you already deserve and are entitled to? We just got to check the box on these few documents.
Yeah, you're establishing my time is precious. There's people I'm helping currently that wants to get helped, and they're getting their money.
We've helped over 200 people. That's what he said. We've helped over 200 people get this money. We've helped over 200 people get this money. I'm happy to help you too, but you got to do your part. Did he say that? He said he helped over 200 people to get that money. Does that sound pretty credible? He's already done it a couple hundred times. So I'm happy to help you too, but this is what I need from you. Put that back on them. And it's not a real plan without a timeline. If there's not a deadline for behavior, it's not a real plan. It's, could you get it back to me, at your convenience, but as soon as possible, maybe, please? That's not a fucking strategy. Hey, I'm happy to help you too, but this is what I need from you. Could you get that to me by noon tomorrow? If you can't do it, who should I speak to in the organization that'll facilitate that paperwork so we can move forward here? I'm happy to help you, but your time's valuable. Mine also is. We got to do this in an efficient way. It only takes a few hours to do the paperwork. It's not something I can spend days on. I've helped 200 clients already. I got another 1,000. I'd like to help them too.
Wow. That's good.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of people you guys so hesitant to ask for a sale, Like so many people are so hesitant to ask. And like, what do you guys hear when I say something like, I've done a terrible job as a salesperson for the last 4 days. I've talked very little about sales. I've talked very little about it. And it's not like I kind of forget. It's like, if you're serious about coming, come. If you're not, it's no worries. It's not my job to go and tell, somebody that knows me well and knows the amount of money you can make over time if you show up for your own damn for success. I don't need to sell that person shit. It's like, if you know, and you'll be there. And, I don't even think of it as like they're judging me or they're like, did I get enough value from this or that? Or like, if you didn't figure out how to get your money back from this event, that's your fault. Who can make a hell of a lot more than you paid, all your expenses and opportunity cost? Who can make a hell of a lot more money than you paid to be here in your future? So if you can't figure that out, it's like, there's nothing else I could do to help you. There's nothing else I could do to help you. Better that you don't come. It'd be better that way. So, if I'm going to spend time, making a case for anybody else to come, it's like, that should just be, we'll film some ads, we'll go, got a great, we have an extraordinary sales funnel of people that go through those mentoring courses. They take one, they end up in the second one. If they end up in the second one, like 91, 92% of people that get into the second one will be in the third one. And then, a chunk of those will get invited to the mastermind group if it makes sense to invite them. And then so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. And if they want to be in the mastermind group, then they're going to come to a couple of events per year. And there's no trickery, there's no insincerity. There's like, if you don't want to come a couple times a year, then you shouldn't be there at all. The people that come consistently, like, I'd like to have some continuity of experience together. I'd like to see the same faces consistently. Those are the people I'm going to spend my time with. Those are the people I'm going to invite to come do cool shit together. And they stand out, and ultimately, those are the people that when we have a real crisis or a real opportunity in the market, that I'm going to take time and try to help them make some money. And I don't give a shit about the other ones because they don't even give a shit about me either. They don't even give a shit about themselves. So like, I can't be more excited about them than they are. And I just say it very openly and kind of intentionally, a little harshly, just to make the contrast, is like, you decide if you want to come. We're going to do a dope-ass event in September. Almost everybody's already coming. What am I going to sell you on it? We're going to do another dope-ass event in New Year's. It's going to be, I'm actually quite excited about it. I have several speakers lined up for both. I have a lot of plans and a lot of structure for the September conference. I'm quite excited about it. I never use anybody's, do I ever tell you guys who's even coming to these things before we, yeah, but are you disappointed when you meet whoever's here? So I don't even use anybody's name for marketing. How much extra, think of the negligence of that, of like not, selling a jiu-jitsu seminar, business/weightlifting/jiu-jitsu, and I don't say your name, and I don't say Jake's name, and I don't say Hoyce's name, and I don't say Flex Lewis. Think of the negligence of that, of the lost money. Random assholes who don't know anything about me would show up to go lift weights with Flex Lewis or train jiu-jitsu with Hoyce.
That's crazy.
Do you care who shows up for your jiu-jitsu classes? Or if you're running an MMA school, do you care who shows up?
No.
What type of person do you want to show up?
I want people that know what they want, what's their motive to be there. I want people to be driven. Actually, like my jiu-jitsu class right now, I hate when somebody shows up only sometimes. I look at them and go, I'll kill you today, and I hope you don't show up again, because it's just a waste of time, right? I want to put my energy in people that actually know what they want, to have a motive to be there and really want to learn. Like if somebody want to learn jiu-jitsu, like show up to the class every time, show up every day. That's what I did to learn jiu-jitsu. That's how I won 3 worlds. That's how I won 7 nationals, right? So when I look at people showing up here and there and really saying that they're going to be a black belt someday, I just laugh at them and I wish they were not like coming to my class, I want people that know their motive, know why they want to be around me, and understand that they need to be there in order to conquer whatever they're trying to conquer.
So about word for word, what you just said is like, when somebody shows up, doesn't show up consistently and tells me they want to have super high level results, don't come at all. Just go f off. Go f off. Go do anything else. I won't miss you. The other people that are here, the people that come 7 times from the other side of the world and halfway or the other side of the world, they can get here consistently. Plenty of other people get here. Jasan's here all the fucking time. Robert's here all the time. Daniel's here all the time. Jeff's here all the time. Phil's here almost all the time. So on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Randy's here all the time. Imran's here quite frequently. Occasionally, Imran has a multi-million-dollar project that falls at the wrong time of the year, and I can get that part. But other than that, you're here all the time. And Constantine, Sahir's been around for years, et cetera, et cetera. How many of you guys been coming for years? 3 or more years, Joseph. How's that worked out for you over time?
Great. Life-changing. Never got poorer.
Best testimonial of the week.
That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel right now. I made $100,000 in a month for the first time, not from fighting. Right, I wasn't making $100,000 in a month when I was fighting, But when I retired, I was like afraid. I was like, am I ever gonna be able to make that money? And last month I made $100,000 in a month for the first time because of that guy. So I understand you.
So, is that negligence in the short term? Maybe, but I'm not doing that. I'm making a long-term, we're building a long-term culture where I want to see the same people, and I want to deal with serious things and fix things. If you go implement the shit we just talked about, how much money is that worth to you?
Lots. Yeah. Lots.
How long did that take us to have that conversation? The meat of that conversation was less than 5 minutes.
But that little 2-minute, 3-minute little thing you gave there, that's gonna, if I take that and roll with it, I can make my first 6 figures this year, for sure.
More than that, I hope. You need to get your percentage higher if you can't make at least 100 grand. Who else heard something in that they could go make 6 figures from that? Don't be scared to ask for the sale. Don't be scared to ask for a sale. If I ask one of you to come do something, I'm literally saying, hey, I think it's in your selfish best interest to come show up here.
Maybe to add a little bit on that, in March 2020, it was actually you who called me that there's an opportunity. I didn't have a brokerage account. I didn't know what a limit order was, as already mentioned. So I would have missed on the whole opportunity if I wouldn't have been there like the years before, consistently.
And I don't need to talk about your finances in depth, but am I exaggerating that you made millions of dollars, plural, because of that? Should I call everybody and have that conversation one-on-one? Is that good use of my time? I'm not even sleeping at that time. Yes, sir.
So my situation is that I have 2 properties in Austria. Then I have 2 businesses one of it is kind of e-commerce where we sell fruits in Europe. And the other one where I'm like personally involved is like photography and videography, where we travel and create social media ads for companies, for dentists, for sailing companies. That's what I'm very satisfied about. But I don't see how I prioritize all of these different things to get to kind of $1 million of net worth. So maybe you can share some of your experiences, because my situation is that I'm kind of in this photography, videography business. I feel like I'm in the peak of my performance, but I don't see that this is kind of producing like $1 million a year or something like that. So maybe you could share some insights, or maybe you can see a road that I could take to improve and expand that.
He's looking at you, so he must want you to answer the question.
Well,
Solve all his problems. No pressure.
I mean, no pressure. I want to do the things that makes me money, but I also want to do the things that fulfills my heart, right? I don't know if Derek feels that way.
Heart.
Do you have one? That's what Hoy said, remember?
He said feelings.
Oh, feelings, yeah.
Derek doesn't have any feelings.
So they say one of the hardest time in an athlete's life, it's that that transition, right? To like understand what's the next step, because you kind of like lose your identity and you have to build a new one, right? And luckily, I worked so hard not only in my fighting career but also in the other aspects of my life, and I was always like spending time with in my finances to make sure I was gonna have a safe life after fighting, because I seen so many athletes destroy their money with women, drugs, alcohol, or just luxury in general, and that was kind of like a social learning for me. I learned by watching fighters like wasting their money, and I took care of my money, right? So like when I was fighting, I had that intrinsic value in there because I loved it so much. Like my heart was there and my heart was fulfilled, and I was doing the hard stuff. I was doing the hard things every day and getting paid for it, and my heart was fulfilled, right? Then when I retired, I started working for the UFC, and I was like, I don't think I can do this 9 to 5 thing first. I don't think it's for me. And then second, with that, I didn't enjoy it. It was like, I don't enjoy this. So like, why spend that much time here, right? So then, that was one of the things that made me also make the decision of changing departments and trying something new, which I'm enjoying now, but I always had something on the side making me money also, which is the Airbnb, the short-term rental properties. And on top of that, I'm building equity on those homes, so I like that model a lot. I don't know how to like solve your problem, but I would say, like find something that fulfills your heart that you're happy with, which seems like it is the photography stuff, and try to bring people in to help you and grow that business if it is something that you really like, and continue to do the other stuff that it's bringing you money on a daily basis.
Well, I hear people say, oh, passion, you got to use passion about your business or passion about this or that. That's cool. I get to do that now. But in any case, if you make money in real estate over time, if you're willing to tolerate the managerial problems, it's one of the most certain ways to make money if you're willing to tolerate the managerial problems. Longer term, I think, for me, I found it more pleasant to do things with if I don't like the way something's going in the stock market, I take my phone out of my pocket, I press a couple buttons, and I just broke up with my business partner, David Simon or whoever it happens to be. David Simon's a great guy, by the way. But if David Simon one day, Simon Property Group, one of the best CEOs in the country, one of the best CEOs in the world, so it's not a poke at him. But if one day, heaven forbid, David Simon bumps his head and he starts doing some crazy shit that I'm just like, what are you doing, bro? Like, this is your parents' company, it's your father's company and your grandfather's company. What are you doing? If he makes some decisions like that, I can take my phone out of my pocket and I press a few buttons, and in less than 1 minute, I have millions of dollars liquid, and I don't have a relationship he's not my business partner anymore. So if I think there's a better opportunity, we'll reallocate the resource. Try to do that with real estate that you privately own. You got this fee, that fee, fees, 7.5%, 8.5% is going to go to various fees if you sell something. And then the next step, if you could build the capital from videography and turn that into real estate and make good equity in the real estate, and then, one day maybe, if you like that, great, keep doing it. If you find that frustrating, as I did, I didn't want to spend my life, I did that for 14 years. I didn't want to spend more of my life doing that. It was pissing me off day to day. And I thought, I like the stocks a lot better. I feel comfortable there. I feel confident there. I don't have to deal with these same things. There's other problems, but they're not personal to me. They're not personal to me in the same way as some assholes calling your cell phone and mad because there's a spider in their kitchen and it's your fault. There's a spider in their kitchen and it's your fault. Not a bad building block. If you have the patience for it, there's a lot of money there and you'll make real money over time. And, and if you don't love it, then, you can still make a lot of money for a period of time and then go do something else with the money later. And that's just the path that I preferred to do that. Whatever's right for you, cool. I've asked, Glover and some other people to comment of, these people see me as, I'm the instructor or the teacher of something. When the roles are reversed, when you're showing me, when you're training me some MMA, grappling, and jiu-jitsu, what is Derek like as a student in those situations?
Very coachable, very open-minded, always looking for things that he can do better. And one thing I learned from him actually that I wish I knew when I was younger, he always, tells me, I like my results better than I like my ego, more than I like my ego, and I keep telling myself that now. And it just makes me more humble and more open to learn more, and that's the kind of guy he is when he's learning. Always asking questions, intelligent questions, always making progress, always looking for the next thing. He's already like getting his purple belt now, already thinking about his brown belt, so always thinking ahead, and just has a brilliant mind of like focusing in things and really getting things done.
This is Derek Moneyberg reminding you, don't stay poor. You see, in a first world country, poverty is a lifestyle choice. You know what else is a lifestyle choice? Being a millionaire. There's little women in the world that are outworking you right now. On a Sunday, the poor thing, you can choose to do better. You can choose to be more. You can choose to learn more and earn more. Click that link below. Do yourself a favor, learn something. Learn more so you can earn more. Most importantly, don't stay poor.